This is Justice Stats, Reggie Johnson, Eugene Morgan, coming to you from the lovely city of Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Now, this is a new venture here, at least for me, Eugene. Have you ever started a YouTube channel before? I did. Do you even watch YouTube, Eugene?
I do. I watch. I love it during when summer hits. I like watching the baseball ones because the arguments and maybe the fights that break out because somebody will there's a good person out there. He'll read the dialogue. He'll watch the videos and he can read the lips of the managers, the umpires, the players, and he'll break it all down. And so I get into those videos and when it gets really hot because then it gets hot out, people tempers start flaring. So I like watching that for for on that side of it for just for that fun content. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but I did watch the Super Bowl on YouTube TV just because it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a
YouTube fiend, man. I love it. And
yeah.
I watch so much freaking YouTube. It's freaking ridiculous. There's a lot of channels that I've watched throughout time. And it's interesting because, we've been doing a podcast here. For people who don't know, we do a Justice Stats podcast here for about almost 4 years. I think about 4 years here now.
Almost 4 years.
Yes, 2019. And it's been more of like audio focused because I'm more of like an audio guy. The podcasts are just so nice. Get on and get a chance to talk about sports. And if anybody's found this channel, I'm not sure how you've done that. This is literally our first show ever. So I'm not sure how you found it, but if you have found it, welcome to it. There's mostly subjects that we discuss are NBA, NFL subjects, some baseball when baseball is here. Definitely Braves, most Atlanta focus. The show used to be called Reggie ATL Sports Talk, but since I'm not the only person on this show, I feel like that was kind of a stale name, Eugene. Like it's not me. There's like a whole other human being talking on this show. So welcome to the channel. Today we're going to discuss Carmelo. We've discussed Carmelo Anthony before on our podcast because we're big Melo fans, and now that he decided he's hanging it up, we wanted to have some discussion about whether he is a first ballot Hall of Famer or not. Let's get his stats here, popping. So people have the stats here, and I basically, I'm going to be partial here to this, and this kind of splits here when you look at his career because he had a career in Denver that was coming right out of college. I want to say he won that chip in Syracuse, went third behind your boy Darko. I don't think Darko's around anymore, man. Is he still playing?
Nope. His last season was 2013. I looked it up before we got on the podcast.
2013. Well, I mean, that's like 10 years because I think that Melo draft was 03, 04, somewhere around there.
Yep.
He was in that LeBron draft and it was a great player. When you look at his career and you're going to be standing in the shadow of LeBron James, LeBron was that first player. So you're going to be standing in the shadow of LeBron James. So when you look at his career, I think sometimes when you're compared to another great person, it can really suck for you because it makes it look like your career is lesser, right? But when you look at Carmelo Anthony's career, his points per game, played a lot of games, played over 1,000 games. It's an excellent career, right? This isn't a Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf situation, right? Like we're not looking at a person who's compared to somebody who just completely burned out in the league. This is two great players, even though you are into the draft with one of the best players. Still a great career for Carmelo. I don't think there's an argument for him to go to the Hall of Fame, especially when you look at some of the players that are already in the Hall of Fame. I feel like he should be in with his career stats. What do you think about the first ballot Hall of Famer, though? Do you think that he's going first ballot right off top?
I think so. I mean, because I think the definition, yes, obviously the stats are always going to be part of the conversation, but also the other part of the conversation is, would you pay money to watch him play? I think that's always, would you drive wherever, would you, make it a point to go see this guy play? Or would you say, okay, look, I've got to sit down and watch Carmelo play? And I think, and he fits that, right? He's one of the last guys I remember just on the college, because, you and I both don't watch a lot of college, basketball or tournaments, but
not until March, man.
Not till March. And then even then we're kind of like, well, maybe watch it, or maybe I think we definitely.
Man, yeah, get on YouTube, man. Those game summaries where they're like 10 or 15 minutes. I live on those, man. You can catch a game list. Why sit down for 2 or 3 hours where I can catch this thing in 10 or 15 minutes. Can serve my day, man.
Right. So I remember just when he was at Syracuse, like I made it a point to watch him play because they just like he was just one of the guys. And I watched that whole him. I watched some old, some late season games. I watched him in the tournament. I watched it. It was just I couldn't believe it because not only was I getting the chance to watch him, I was also getting a chance to watch LeBron as well. So I mean, it was just that I remember that year was just like those two guys. Just when they're coming out, those were the ones you were just watching. One day you're watching Carmelo, one day you were watching LeBron. But so to me, I mean, you can kind of split hairs. I was looking up something. He's the only player with 27,000 career points that hasn't won a championship or an MVP. I mean,
wow,
yeah. I mean, you can kind of split that. I mean. But he was, like I said, he was a bucket guy, right? He was, I mean, again, you see the assists are not high and the rebounds are not the highest, but the dude got buckets.
Pure scorer, man. He's not passing the rock, bro.
Right. He's a scorer. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, we've talked before about him going to New York, and that probably wasn't, obviously we all knew he was doing that, but probably wasn't the best move for him because once he did that, you kind of knew, okay, he's saying right now, I'm not winning a championship right now. I mean, when he went to New York, right? He's saying that versus other guys.
Man, we could talk about that. That's that's what the Phil Jackson era when around that time. And right. I don't know because, Melo around that when there was a chance for him to go to free agency, he did go on his tour. I think he went to Chicago. I think he went to Houston, and I heard a podcast where he was saying that he was almost going to go to Chicago, but he had got wind of some changes that are going to be happening there. So he might go to a team that wasn't going to be the team that he thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So he went back to New York, and it's hard not to look at that, Eugene, as like a money grab, right? Because I think at the time they could pay him the most money.
Oh yeah,
if he had stayed in New York.
Yep.
The problem is, and this is the same problem that you can see with other teams and with other players who stay on certain teams. If you don't have help, it doesn't matter how much money they're paying you, that you're not getting that chip. Like that chip is still very far away. No matter, maybe you're in a gym working out with these guys. Maybe there's something that you see there and you say, you know what? I think that we have a chance. Maybe you can squint and say, this may be a championship team. But at the end of the day, when you look at those teams that he was on, they weren't even close.
Right.
To a championship. I think you got closer when Porzingis got there, but I'm not sure how long he played with Porzingis. So, and he was there for, I think, the Lynn years too, the Linsanity years. I think he was there for, I say years. I think it's literally a year. I don't know if Linsanity lasted more than a few months.
Yeah, it was a few months. It was, it was pretty crazy, but yeah. But to your question, yeah, I think he's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, I love the guy too much, and that's we might be just a mellow bias, and that's fine. And somebody can like come on here or put a comment in there. Well, you guys didn't consider this. You're right. We probably not, and we're not going to because we love the guy. Like I said, he's a
great player though. Eugene is not he's not a bum,
right? He's not a bum. Exactly. We're not. It's not like we're trying to make the case.
Guy's got almost 30,000 points. I mean, it's not like we are. This is not a hot take. I don't think. I think the only question is when he goes in. It was kind of like the T.O. situation. It was a question of when he was going in. It wasn't a question of if he should be in. It's a question of, is he worthy of the first ballot? I think people sometimes separate that. I'm not sure if the Hall of Famers do, because once you're in, right?
Yeah. And then I think with T.O. though, he had that. So just the line between him and the media, and you've never had that with Carmelo. Carmelo's always been, accessible. He's always, been able to. You never saw that friction with him and the media. So,
right.
And that's what I say. Everywhere he goes, he's loved. Denver might, I think they should kind of, offer that olive branch, to him and just kind of mend that relationship a little bit, because it'd be nice for him, to show up to some playoff games here in the future and like, hey, because when they're showing like former Denver players on like, when I was watching the playoffs, it's like, they're not really showing like Carmelo. So it's like, man, it'd be nice for
I
them
wonder
to.
why he spent more years there than in New York by 1 year. He
Well,
spent
yeah, but
7 years in New York, 8 years in Denver.
you're right. But I think it was because he demanded the trade, and so feelings are kind of hurt.
Ah, I
Yeah,
see. I see. Feeling
yeah.
when don't most players? Let's look at a lot of these players' careers, right? When you were looking at LeBron, who was in that same draft, you look at D Wade, who's in that same draft.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have played for 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah.
None of them are. I'm not saying that they won't retire as the team that drafted them, but look how many teams they played for. They played for a lot of different teams, so it's not like And let's go with coaches. Coaches can be fired. They could be great, win coach of the year, then get kicked out.
Yep.
Year or two later. Is there really any such thing as loyalty in the NBA? I don't think there is. I don't think this is a business. So if you can't get butthurt when a player demands to go to a different team and then treat it like those 7, 8 years that he spent there just never existed.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that there were some good years for Denver. If you look back at those years, there were some pretty solid years. Did he play with Billups or Billups come after him? Because there was some influx there. They had an Iverson.
Yeah.
That were there for some of those years. I'm not sure how many he played with Carmelo. But I think that when you look at the time he spent in Denver, it very much mirrors him spent in New York, in the sense that he was a great player, and he's a great player in New York. And they spent almost the same amount of years there. So I'm not sure why they would feel some type of way or not show him. It's not like you have a ton of players you can show.
Right. Exactly.
Going throughout the years. Right. They have Alex English. Did he play for Denver back in the day? Quick video. I don't think you should leave Carmelo out of that. Right. And like you said before, we're kind of partial to him on this show because we've done other shows on him. But at the same time, I think that he's a great player. He's worthy of any kind of I'm not sure if you retire his number. Maybe that's because passive aggressively, some teams get back at you like that by giving your number to somebody like immediately. I think Atlanta did that with Vic here.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess maybe they retire his number. Maybe they've already given it to somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, Jokic has his number. Jokic has.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, man. I mean that's rough.
Yeah.
For as much as I love Melo, man. Wow. Yeah, I mean you're not. I can't say anything to that because
right.
Jokic deserves that retirement, especially if he can get them over the hump, man. He already got them to the first finals. Carmelo didn't do that. And if he's able to get them over the hump and actually win the chip, there's no argument there. No. Not only did they give your number away, they gave it away to a better player.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, he's in my mind, he's a Hall of Famer. Cause like, I remember when as soon as I saw that the video and when he's going to retire, when I saw the news, I immediately thought of the Syracuse run. I just thought that was like one of the just all time best, actually, to pull it off because he was the best player in the country. And that's, that's the thing too. That's when he could hold
in college. Cause he was, I think LeBron was the best player in the country overall.
Well, I'm saying
LeBron
college
just didn't go to college at all.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry. I meant the best player in college. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. But no, I'm just saying in college. And that's when he can have over a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys didn't stay long in college and didn't win the championship. And he's one of the few, and probably one of the last kind of stars, if you think about it, will win an NCAA championship because there's so many, like, either they're one and done or they're going to the G League right out of high school.
Right, because why would you? Why go to school if you don't have to? I'm trying to go straight to the league, if I could. So there's not really any argument here, I guess, on whether he should be. And I guess we're both on first ballot here. Would it be crazy if he wasn't? Let's just take the other side of that. Would it be crazy if he wasn't first ballot? Would you think that was wild or?
No, I mean, because then
travesty.
It would be a travesty. I mean, because again, it's one of those things. Everyone at some point, it's kind of like the NFL Hall of Fame. It's like everyone gets it at some point. It's like the same with the NBA. It's like everyone, I mean, gets in. I mean, at some point, he'll get it. So if it's not first, and then you have to kind of I have to look at the ballots because I mean the NBA gives. I mean, there's a lot of people that come up for a time frame. So you just kind of look at, okay, so he's retiring now and who's going to be on the ballot. I don't know what the waiting period is for NBA, but Yeah, I wouldn't be okay. He's not on the first. He'll be on the next. But I like it. Yeah, I'm not going screaming from hilltops. Why is he not now? If it was LeBron, says he retired, he's
Come
not
on, come
first
on.
round. That'd be
No,
crazy, right?
There's the
No,
credibility to be instantly lost. There's no
exactly
LeBron's been in a Hall of Fame, a first ballot Hall of Famer for like the last 10 years.
right. So yeah, I mean, again, he'll get in, and that's the crazy part. But it's funny is like now we're starting to. I feel kind of old because in that video, his retirement video, he's talking about his kid. And his kid is going to be like, I think they're projecting his kid to be better than him. It's pretty insane. It's like, yeah, it's like you start getting.
Is that like real? Is that a real situation?
Yeah.
Have you watched any tape or anything like that?
People
say stuff.
Yeah, just deep dive. But I'm just going by what other people said. So, but I haven't watched any tape. But from what I was reading, they were saying he's going to be a pretty good player, which is not shocking. It's like him and LeBron's kids. It's just crazy. It's like all these kids, like for all these guys we watched growing up. Now we're watching their kids play in the league.
Right, and some of these guys are playing against their kids in the league. LeBron's playing against a few people's kids. Look at Gary Payton Jr. out here.
That's right.
I think he played against both. No, his father was on his team.
They were teammates.
So you see a lot of guys like that, and when you look at a lot of these guys who. I gotta look at some of these kids' stats because I don't want to. It's a daunting task when you look at a situation. And let's just stay here on Melo. And we'll do Bronny, I guess, at some other point.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stay here on Melo's kid. If you're gonna say the kid's gonna be better, we feel like he's gonna be better than his father, right? And you look at those stats at the bottom of the screen. I mean, the assist, there's opportunities there for the assist. I mean, can we be better than 2.7 assists? Okay, I got that. But the biggest thing is the 27,000 points. Like you're any player that has to come into the league and people are telling you you're gonna be better than somebody who scored almost 30,000 points in the NBA. It's daunting. Like that's a 27,000 point hill to climb.
Right. And it's like, can we not put the pressure on the kid right away? Can he just come out? But it's like Wemby. It's like, can we not put the pressure? Like, he's going to be the best player by 3 years. Like, can we let him play?
Yes. Defense and offense. Like, he's going to be the best. That's the Wembanyama talk, right?
Yeah.
The best player in 3 years, defense and offense. And that's not to say that can't be true, but it's crazy to feel like these kids have to come into the league, and if they're not Hall of Fame status, they're failures. Like if you're coming to the league and you're not Hall of Fame status, the number one player in the league, then somehow you failed in life.
Right.
Just making it to the league is an accomplishment, and that should be celebrated in general. It's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult to make it to the league. So just making it to the league is an accomplishment. And if you can be the number one overall player or the number one overall pick, and then you can come in and at least contribute to your team. I don't know how much winning they'll do because the Spurs are horrible, but if you can at least contribute to your team, then that should be something. So I think that's what we should be looking at for Melo's kid. And I guess we'll see exactly how that goes. I've done no research. I'm not really concerned until you get into the league and you start playing.
Yeah, that's how I am. It's like I keep seeing that because it's the same thing with LeBron's kids. They're saying, well, Bronny's not he's going to be good, but the other kid's supposed to be better. So it's like, and like you said, it's like, okay, until I see it, and until I see the YouTube or until I see him playing against players, it's like I've seen tape on Wemby. I think he's going to be good. I've seen tape on Scoop. I think he's going to be good. So I mean, like that, those I can see those two guys, and boom, but everybody else, I'm gonna have to wait and see because I don't, like you said, there's a lot of them are overseas players or college players. I don't watch a lot of that, so I need to wait and see them play.
Well, we'll be back with more subjects. We'll have more evergreen subjects like this, and we'll talk a little more on the day to day. We definitely appreciate you taking time out here to join us on our very first episode. Every episode will be better than the previous ones. What do they say at the end of these things? It's like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep. You
know what, man? Maybe I should get like a like, comment, and subscribe banner and just scroll that up across the bottom of the screen. This show's gonna be ever changing. We're gonna change the show in front of you guys. So we don't even know what the show's gonna look like even a month from now.
Right.
But would be awesome? because I'm not really a social media guy. My social media is horrible. So, but I would love to talk sports like with people in comment sections. Wouldn't that be amazing to just be talking sports with random
Absolutely.
people in
Hey,
comment
I
sections?
always
Even if
say,
they're like crapping on your take, you can still at least talk sports. I just want to talk it. I don't care if you agree with it. Let's just talk about the sports, you know? So yeah, appreciate you taking time to join us, and we'll see you next time.